Alright, I'm live. Got it. Alright. The internet can totally see you now. That's good to know. Scratch beard test. Alright, we're good there. Let me put my other headphone in. Hopefully my sound is working. Gonna test that real quick. Testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2. Alright, it's good. Okay. So I'm gonna fly around for, I don't know, probably it's about 8, 10. Just messing around. Then I'll start answering questions, and then I'm gonna go into the tutorial. So, just gonna chill for a little bit. Let me see what's going on here. There we go. You can join the session. The session is up. Should be able to see the link to everything if you are watching. And yeah, so if you want to fly on real flight, come on in, the water's fine. Probably didn't warm up as much as I should have, but oh well. I should probably view my radio because I know that's like why people see. There we go. How's that look? Ugh. That was ugly. Oh. Let's see, someone joined. Rodrigo. What's up, Rodrigo? Oh. Yeah, my computer's lagging a little bit. Mostly because I have a couple background applications running that I need to show off for the part of the stream. If it gets too bad, then I'll change it. Hello, what is up? I can't see your plane, unfortunately, but I can still see what you're doing. Oh, no, I can see. Not really doing my warm-up flight right now. I probably should. pretty psyched. I'll have a new plane tomorrow. So I'm really looking forward to getting off work and opening a nice box of fun and getting to try it out over the weekend. So that's my new plan. That's my plan for right now. I did get some flights in this past weekend, but wasn't really happy with the way I was flying at the field. Hopefully I'll be able to get my Jetty transmitter to work with real flight, but I've had some issues with that, so I had to update all the firmware on my receivers, which, I mean, I guess it's cool that that's the thing, but it does kind of stink because it takes another cord that was like 20 bucks, so that's like $30 just trying to get this stupid thing to work, and I should have just, almost at this point, I could have just bought Real Flight 7.5. I was trying to save money, but funny how that works. Oh, I looked away. Got 10 people watching those. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. But yeah, so gonna give it about 8 minutes. Then I'll start answering some questions. I already have them all pulled up, so we'll go pretty quick. There's some really good ones though. Some I'm really looking forward to answering to the best of my ability. I can't say I'm an expert on some of them, but we're gonna look at some questions. Then we're gonna look at a guy in RC groups. His username is Airport Dog, I think. Sent me a video of a maneuver that a full-scale airplane does, and wants to kind of see if we can get it to work. Which I'm not sure if it'll actually work, but I kind of get an idea of what he's doing. So what's the new airplane Extra Edge Yak brand? Ha ha ha. That is, for now, gonna be on the down low. I will say that it is something that is currently not available to buy, I think. I'm not sure if you can buy them yet. So I'll leave it at that. You can't buy it anywhere right now. I mean, I'll probably get an extreme flight airplane here soon. I'd like to. But as someone who was sponsored for a while, I will say it is super nice just to go and see what looks cool and be like, hey, I'm going to try that. So I'm going to live it up and just try out whatever I want. So, yeah, you can't get them now, right now. They'll be coming soon. But I'm going to have one of the first ones, and I'll let y'all know how I like it. I think it's going to be cool. I think it's going to be really cool. Just saying. I think it's going to be cool. But it comes tomorrow, so I'm going to film an unboxing video tomorrow. Hopefully go fly it on Saturday. Maybe get some video this weekend flying it. Get my thoughts. But yeah. You can't buy it anywhere, so good luck finding it. If you find it, then props to you. That takes some serious detective skills. So that's all I'm going to say. So that should narrow it down, technically. But I am about to retire my 48-inch Edge. Here, I'll show how worn an airplane can be. So here's the wing. So here's the wing to the Edge. Right here. And the wing tube is so worn I can move the spar probably a couple millimeters in both directions. And it's like this in both wings, and the wing tube doesn't exactly, like, it's not a tight fit. And when you pair that with the plane that's just been flown, sorry about that, extremely hard for 4 years, It just doesn't fly as straight as it should. Now, there's ways to fix it, but I don't know. Where the wings actually go on the fuselage is really torn up. The motor box is really torn up. I've actually 3D printed like a whole new front end. So yeah, it's time. I don't know if I'm gonna like kill it in a video. I could definitely just do like a full throttle loop and the wings would almost flutter off, which would be a cool video, but I really don't want to damage the motor or the speed controller or the battery. The servos I don't care about because all the servos are old HS65s, and then I have one E-Flight servo, which I know that sounds bad, but the E-Flight servo actually is not that bad. So props to E-Flight for making a good servo. But yeah, it's on its last leg. It was a great airplane though. I've thought about getting another one, but I'm going to take the motor and put it in something completely different that's not even 3D, and I'm going to go over that at the end of the video as well, at the end of the stream. It's kind of a new project I'm working on. So yeah, 4 years old. It say hello to Brazil. Hi Brazil. I actually have met one of your really good pilots, Antonio de Souza, who's on my channel. I met him at an event and he is super good and he's really nice. So yeah, Brazil's got some talent, that's for sure. I'm gonna rename my live stream real quick though. Tutorial. Okay, let me get some Dr. Pepper. Okay, so back to flying for about like 3 more minutes. Then I'm gonna answer some questions, but yeah, got a lot going on. I don't know, I could probably fly that 48 Edge for another year, but it might blow apart in one more flight, so I don't want to risk it, and the servos aren't really worth putting in a new plane. Like, they're just that bad, so I'm just going to use those as like to have for scratch building, because I'm trying to limit myself to having one airplane, and the only excuse for having more than one is if I build it myself. So that's the new plan. Some ugly flying going on right now though. Also, I figured out the Weeble Wobble, which I'm going to go over as well. I don't know why I had so much trouble last time, but I take back everything I said about the Weeble Wobble, and I will show you the 100% correct way to do a Weeble Wobble that is not a rolling Harrier spin, because no one understands they're different. I even went and looked at other people's tutorials over the Weeble Wobble, and they're wrong. They're all wrong, from what I can tell. They're all wrong. They're right in a way that it's a maneuver, but it's not a Weeble Wobble. I'll show you guys a cool maneuver. This is the inverted snake. It looks kind of stupid, but whatever. Oh. I'll try it again. I did not invent this maneuver, by the way, so oops, I crashed. I did not invent that maneuver, but yeah, it's really weird. Joe Smith was the first one to do that, and it never caught on when I think it could have. But yeah. Okay. It's 8:10. It's question time. Gonna start on YouTube comments. I've already looked over them, so I know what's kind of there. Let's see. So this is from the announcement video I made. It says, could you do turnaround hints, tips, practice improvements, advice? I know this is your forte, and this is my goal to enhance these, please. Yes, I will go over some of those in a sec. I have some reminders that make, that was the Joffel, who also I think goes by Harlem. And then Sven Bardos, sorry about names, I'm sorry, said, I have some reminders that make my life easier. Examples: going from normal flight to knife edge, always rudder opposite aileron direction. Going from inverted flight to knife edge, always rudder same direction as aileron. Snapping and knife edge, always aileron in the direction of the current rudder and pull. Positive snap. Do you have such reminders to help you avoid unnecessary thinking? What do you think about Jace Ducia? 1 second, I'll talk about Jace. But, okay. So, the thing about those is I used to be big into those. Like, I would always say, if I'm inverted, rudder goes, blah, blah, blah. But when I talked about last week is bad habits, that's building a bad habit. And when you rely to think for that 5 seconds of what my special rule is for whatever maneuver is, it's too late. It's, if you're like doing a 3D flight and you're like, okay, I'm about to do this snap, and when I do this snap, I give this rudder because that's the rule. It's too late. So that's a good way to, you know, think it through a set of maneuvers. But when it comes to practicing, you just want to get to that second nature where you shouldn't have to think about almost anything you do. It should be instant. But I mean, I have had those rules before. It's not a bad thing. It's just be careful. Definitely be careful because they can come back and get you. But I've had those. I mean, I'm a #1 culprit. For a while, it was when I was learning inverted flying, and I always was doing rules like that. But now, I don't use rules like that. Typically, if I am going to be in a situation like that, I just practice that situation and then try and fly through that situation. So, you know, if you have a rule for knife edge, try and do flights that make you go in that orientation and practice that rule. But yeah, I wouldn't, be careful with the rules. Not bad, but not great. Really, in the end, you just want to be able to react and do something. The best thing, the best way to put it is, if you have to think about it, you're already 5 seconds, 10 seconds behind. That's my opinion on that. What do you think about Jace Ducia? Jace Ducia is the best pilot in the game right now. But I find his flying a little bit on the boring side. Just saying. I think he's untouchable. I don't think anyone's flying like him, but I think someone will catch up very soon. Mostly because his style, I'm seeing a lot of people emulate at all the events I was doing, or all the events, or the couple events I went to this year. There's people catching up, and his style will soon be everyone's style. So I think he should watch out. But he's definitely the best, and he's super good, and he's made his style, you know, they call it extreme aerobatics, is what he's doing. But he's definitely made that style. So props to him for upping the game and winning all these events too. He's definitely on another level. I find some of it a little repetitive and boring, but he's good. And if you could combine Jace Ducia with some of the stuff that low and slow pilots do, but also I think one of my favorite pilots to watch is, I think he's from Italy, and I think his last name is like Ciaroni, something like that. He competed at XFC last time they had it, and he was doing some just really creative stuff. Unfortunately, creative stuff doesn't always make you place higher, but I enjoy watching it, you know. That's one of the guys I really like. So let me go back to answer some questions. So I'm not trying to put anyone on blast. Jace is amazing, and he's #1 in the world by far, but I think people will catch up. Okay. Would you say there's an order to the things you would suggest to learn them? So, example, rolling a Harrier, rolling loops. If so, please create a list. I think there is to a degree. I wouldn't really say there's a list. I think there's like kind of different levels. Should I come and fly or do homework? I don't know. I mean, is it college homework or high school homework? Because if it's high school homework, probably okay. If it's college homework, you probably should do your homework. No. I want to be a good influence. Do your homework. But would you say there's an order to things you suggest to learn by? Yes and no. I don't think there's really a list. I think I don't think I can just make a list. I think what you need to do is say, hey, this is a maneuver I want, and then break that maneuver down. That's a really general answer, but So in your comment, you said, you know, Harrier, rolling loop. Yes, that's how you should definitely attack that. You don't want to be going after a rolling loop when you can't do, you know, just normal rolling Harriers. So, you know, take that as you will. I could create a list. We'll see. I don't know. I just think it would be really hard because it's so different for everyone. Okay, next comment from David Delgado, who comments on a lot of my videos. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Sorry I won't be able to make it today. It's 1 a.m. and I don't think I can handle it. Please, would you consider to answer the question I made on the post-stream episode 1? Alright, I'll go take a look at that in a sec. Here's 3 more and then I'll move. If you try a new maneuver and it doesn't work as expected, what do? Go back to the sim, try it in real life but much higher, and try to complete the maneuver? I had this problem with rolling circle, but doing rolling circles in 100 feet is not very fun. Perspective is so different on the sim. Same thing with rolling loops. That's a really good question. Let me break that down. So the question is, if you're practicing a maneuver and you're having trouble, what is the best way? So if you're trying to do a rolling loop and you just can't get it and you just keep messing up, the number one thing is don't get frustrated. If you get frustrated, quit. Just stop. You're not going to get anywhere. I've been a big, if I've ever been practicing a maneuver and I just like keep going even though I'm just angry and not even really paying attention to what I'm doing, it doesn't get you anywhere. I think the best thing to do is, let's say you're doing a rolling loop and you're having trouble on the last fourth, focus on the last fourth, set up a simulator to only do that last fourth, you know, break down the maneuver more. And then if that doesn't work, then go back just to doing, you know, maybe rolling hairs on up and down line. You know, it's really hard to say for whatever maneuver it is, but don't get frustrated with it. If you're having trouble in real life, you know, I would practice high anyways. I wouldn't, you know, I definitely just wouldn't sit there in real life and waste battery time on frustrated flying. That's my main thing. Go back to the sim, keep working on the sim, you know, make sure you have that plan for when you are going to try it again, but don't fly frustrated when you're trying to learn. It's not going to help. Do you know anything about accounting? No, but I got a B in that class. So, how exactly does Jace do those wagging tail slow rolls? Those are interesting and tricky. I'm not going to attempt one on the sim right now, but if you can't do a perfect slow roll, then don't even really try it. And then once you get perfect slow rolls down and are really comfortable doing slow rolls, then you can try and add the extra control surface movement. And the best way is just to pick, with your rudder, is start with really slow like movements. So when you're trying to wag the tail, just give it a little bit. Don't try and do big wags or anything. Just start easy and simple. It's definitely it can go wrong really fast, but yeah, if you can't do like really nice slow rolls, don't start there. I'm not terrible, not amazing either. I mean, it might be worth a shot. It's up to you. I mean, you know, I would just start with the small rudder inputs and work your way up. Okay, next question from Sven Bardos again. How often do you crash? How often have you crashed while getting to the level you are now? Is there a maneuver you crash a lot? Why have you crashed? Just trying a maneuver without training on the sim? Too crazy or too low? I'll tell you like the #1 reason I crash. Because I'm an idiot. That's the #1 reason I crash. But how often? I mean, how often do I just bury a plane in and it's not even remotely repairable? Very, very rare. How often do I maybe have a early landing? Every now and then. It's not consistent. I couldn't say every month or every 3 months, but when I was flying like all the time, I very rarely just threw an airplane into the ground. Part of that was because I was experienced, and part of it was because I knew what to practice and what not to practice. And the last part of that question was, is there a maneuver you crash a lot? Anything that involves rolling Harriers low to the ground, I crash. I've crashed in the ponds. I've crashed in the pond at Jonal. Yeah, I've definitely crashed. Don't get me wrong. I am perfect, but I've when you'll get to a level where you will almost crash a lot, but you won't crash. So I almost crash a lot. Yeah, still flying on 6.5. But yeah, so how often why do I crash? Because I'm an idiot and I try stupid stuff. Last weekend at the flying field, I was doing low inverted Harriers. I was like, I'm going to try and drag the tail inverted. And yeah, I messed up and crashed. Didn't break the airplane, but it was technically a crash. And last one, can you say / show something on the Lamshavak? Yes, I can do that. Next questions. Let me get, let's see, David's question real quick. So, he says, let's see here. I'd like to have a couple questions if you don't mind. Do you know people from IMAC that actually practice on sim for precision? If so, how do they do it? And then 2, you've already talked about the difference between the men and the boys on rifle rollers or power rolls, but what else should I look for to improve? My tutorial tonight will cover that second question 1,000 times, so when we get there, that'll answer that. But as far as practicing IMAC, I think the sim is only good for IMAC as far as knowing the actual sequence maneuvers and knowing the order they go in. But as far as actually practicing IMAC, no, it all should be done at the field because it's very specific. I mean, the sim is only so good for that. Yeah, I'm still on 6.5. There's a discussion about Real Flight 8 on RC groups. I'll send you a link to it. Awesome. Hopefully Real Flight 8 is good. Maybe it'll be relatively not expensive because it's hard to buy like a simulator for $150 when I already have one that's pretty much the same thing except for some small updates. They just really love making money. My inbox is full. That is very normal. I'll make some space in like 20 minutes, I promise. And then the last question is from Airport Dog, and he says, here's my request for one of your future live stream sessions. Can you do a brief tutorial on Rob Holland's frisbee maneuver? So let me set up my stream real quick, and we're gonna watch this maneuver that Rob Holland does. And I don't think it's possible. I do not think it's possible, but I don't really know. So let me pull it over here. All right, can y'all see this? Can y'all see this video? Let me know if you can see this video. You can't upgrade to 7 for free. You can't do any upgrade for free. I called and asked them. They said no. But I'm not sure if you guys can see this video or not. But so this is a maneuver he sent me to try. Now I looked at it. I think it's kind of like a pop top that I think is only possible with full scale. And it's really weird how this happens because a long time ago in full scale aerobatics, you had people saying, man, I wish we could fly like models because they have so much power and they can do all these things that we can't. Now, I wish I could have a radio-controlled airplane that flew like the real one because they have all the momentum to play with. Whereas RC airplanes, like, we don't. We don't have thousands of pounds moving to make this possible. So let me enter full screen. That should look a little better. Move this back. So he starts with like an outside kind of Lamshavak kind of thing, and then goes into the frisbee maneuver. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it, but it's not really about what you can hear. So just give it a watch. Let me see what y'all think. Lamshavak kind of thing. Frisbee. It's pretty cool. I'm gonna play it one more time. Boom. It's pretty much a pop top that's that never, it's a pop top that you don't go on an upline. You just pretty much spin in a circle. And I looked at it, and let me find my mouse. Here we go. I don't need this anymore. Yes. So I looked at it, and I don't really think that a model can do it. What he looks like he gives down elevator, rudder, and then the plane just spins. I really can't explain it. It's kind of like you know the wingovers that full scale airplanes do, where they pretty much spin all the way around. You can't really do that with the model because you just don't have that momentum to spin. I'm gonna keep trying. I'm not gonna do it on stream because it'll take forever. Maybe after I get through the tutorial, but I don't think it's possible. I don't think it is. It is cool, but I don't think it's possible unless we get unless we get him to, you know, pretty much allow me to fly his airplane with a radio. Then it won't be possible. But that's all the questions I think I'm going to cover from the YouTube comments. I'll cover everything else in the tutorial. But so here we go. So tonight, let me get some Dr. Pepper real quick before I start this. This stream is sponsored by Dr. Pepper. Okay. So, tonight, last week we talked about planning, you know, planning how you're going to get better, planning out everything. Tonight I'm going to talk about, which kind of goes into it, and kind of how that one question that Rodrigo had was, you know, we looked at rifle rollers and how the really good guys are able to give those very small inputs that kind of push them over the edge. So one thing you'll see a lot is, you know, when I fly very, let's say, I fly a lot in the X direction. So let me show you what I mean by that. So when I do a lot of flying, I fly up and down the runway in this kind of plane a lot. It's probably one of my biggest negative things that I do. So I don't go out enough. I don't fly out in front of me. I fly up and down the runway with myself. So it's kind of like if this were a 3-axis, I fly in the X a lot. And then you have your Z, which is pretty much flying up. And then you have, which is I think the most important, is flying like the depth. So flying away from you compared to how you fly, like flying away and flying towards you, is what the really good guys, one, keep in mind, and two, that they really do their maneuvers with this plane in mind. It's definitely what the pros like Jace and Daniel Holman was super good at it. Pretty much anyone who's flying at the top level now has this down really well, and everyone's had it down from the beginning, but I've noticed it more. Seth Arnold was really good at it at XFC 2014. He had some really cool maneuvers that really utilized the depth of the field rather than just, you know, a one roll rolling circle. So I'm going to try and like simplify this. So the main thing from this tutorial is going to be depth and how to use the depth of the field, one, to your advantage, and two, when you're doing your maneuvers, why you should think about the depth of maneuvers. So let me get, I thought I had a little sheet of paper ready. I guess I don't. No, it's fine. One sec. I have this. So let's take a loop. We're just going to do a basic loop. Like, this is all you need to explain this. And let me get back in real flight. So when you do a loop, you want to draw this perfect circle every time. So I'm going to attempt to do a loop, and I guarantee you it's going to suck. So I'm going to try and draw this perfect circle. And it's okay. I need to push out farther on the end, and I need to get this last. Okay. That's a loop. We can all do loop. Now, doing a perfect loop's hard, but that's a whole nother thing. So, if you do a loop, when it should look like a perfect circle, no problem. And I want to zoom in. Let me change views real quick. When you're doing a loop, this is what you're going to see. You know, you're going to have your perfect circle. Now, the problem is, you can make this perfect circle, but if you're not flying the depth right, your loop is still going to be terrible. It's still going to be a bad loop. So you got to think about when you're starting and ending your loop, you're going to start at the same height, but you're going to start in the same depth. And this topic goes to almost every maneuver. So if you start a rolling circle or a rolling loop, you want to not only start at the same altitude and go around and end at the same altitude, but your depth going out away from you, you want to start at the same point. It's kind of hard to explain. It's hard to visualize. Let me give some examples on the simulator. And I'm not going to say there's going to be perfect, but it's something that I think should be highlighted for anyone who wants to try and level up. And this goes for any maneuver, like even slow rolls and 4-point rolls. You still have that aspect of the depth, because if you push too far out or you drift too far in, it's not the way the maneuver should be done. So I want to come back around and do a rolling loop and try my darndest to stay in the same plane no matter what. No drifting out. So coming around, coming all the way down. Oh, I messed up. Let me try that again. So this is kind of where I want to start and end, coming all the way up. These are ugly. That one was okay, still lost altitude at the end, but my depth was pretty good. So if I were starting over the center line of the runway, I didn't drift too far out away from me or too far in. It's really big when it comes to maneuvers, especially maneuvers that go up high, like in the Z direction. It's something that, if you think about it when you're doing maneuvers and you actively think, okay, I pushed too far out away from me, you're going to get way better, way faster. Let me know if this is kind of clicking with you, or if this doesn't really make that much sense. But the depth of the maneuvers you're doing is major key. But I'll show another example. Really, the best way to look at this is, so if you imagine every maneuver like, you know, a flat piece of paper. You know, if you imagine every maneuver as just this circle, then that's how your loop's gonna look. But if you were to rotate this circle like this is what you're changing. This is when you gotta keep an account that your circle is gonna look like that. So from your perspective, your loop needs to look like this, but from the side, it's just gonna be a straight line. Like that. That's how you want your loop to look. If you do it poorly, then it's going to look like this. It's almost going to look like that. That one. Let me know if that's something with everyone is cool with. So I want to try and show it on the simulator again. I'll do some slow rolls. Actually, I'll do, let me see here. Rolling loops is good. Yeah, we'll do slow rolls. And this is big in iMac. Big in iMac. And pattern. So slow roll here. Let me get more lined up. Let's just say we're going to try and stay like right down the center of the runway. That was pretty bad. Towards the end, I came towards myself, so my maneuver was not perfect in that depth. Now, it was a decent slow roll in the X direction. I mean, I didn't gain too much altitude throughout it, and the slow roll was actually kind of pretty there for a while, but that movement, that depth range is by far the hardest thing to keep straight, because one little mistake there and you've pushed out, 100 or so feet when you're flying in real life. So that's one thing I wanted to really highlight. Now, let me go on YouTube real quick and show you a really good example of someone who I think not like really, how should I say it, use that space well. It's kind of a different topic. Like, when you get to competitive flying, it's not only how precise you are, it's also how you use that space in the field. That kind of comes back to, personally, I always fly up and down the runway and don't push out far enough or do maneuvers that use that space really well. Now, there are other people who do that super well, and I'm going to show you XFC Seth Arnold, and I actually competed at this XFC. I think it was 2013. Let me look. Sorry, I didn't have this one pulled up, but I wanted to show it. This was the year that he got like busted for using a gyro. I was there. But yeah, we could all tell his airplane had a gyro on it. So I can't say like, it was perfect, but I will show you a really cool way he used the depth of the field for his routine. So let me find it. I think it was his known. I don't think it was the unknown though. I might not be able to find it. If I won't find it, I won't spend too much time on it. Yeah, I can't. I don't know what it was. Anyways, go look at Seth's XFC videos from 2013. And in his video, he's doing like pretty much a 3D era, a racing turn. So that means you have your wing at a really high angle. So you're flying like, you're pretty much at an angle like this the whole time. And he was just weaving in and out like that and turning both directions in this same plane. And I've never seen it before. I had never really seen someone use that kind of turn, and also it was real down low. It was out in front of him, and he actually made it look good. And just keep it in mind, Jace does it really good. He does those really big rolling. It's like a 1 or 2 roll rolling circle that's like on a 45-degree line that goes out away from him and then back in. Another thing you'll see, like as far as depth, is people will push out and then do rolling, like rifle rollers out towards them, and stuff like that. This is just what I'm trying to highlight here, is all this space to play with, which personally I don't use it as well as I should. It's kind of a bad habit of mine, but I'm just trying to highlight that space that you have. So that's kind of the main topic of this tutorial. I hope I explained it well enough. Let me know if I need to come back to this. But depth, when you're doing any maneuver, so the best ones are like loops, rolling loops, and some precision stuff. Anything that requires you to fly a straight line, make sure you're accounting for your depth. That's the main topic here. Dr. Pepper time real quick. Let me know if I'm still alive. I cut out for a sec. I don't know what's going on. So now that was the main topic I kind of wanted to hit. And now I'm going to hit those other topics. So I know one thing was turnaround maneuvers, so I'll go over that now. And fun fact about these turnarounds is, I think the first person to really do them was Gernot Bruckmann, whatever his name is, the German guy. He was super good at these. He was like one of the first guys with the 3D foamies. And a guy at my field actually is the one who showed me kind of like the first one, and then I just took it from there. It's not my maneuver, it's not mine, but I made the tutorial about it. So people are like, hey, that's your turnaround. I'm like, I mean, I guess. If you want to call it that, cool. But not mine. Gernot. It's Gernot's. Whatever his name is. So the most basic one you have, you know, your upright to inverted, which these are just so good. And then you have your inverted to upright, which I'm lagging a little bit, so I'll do another one, inverted to upright. Inverted to upright. So that's kind of the two basic ones. Now I've seen a couple, and I've done a couple where you kind of push yourself around, or not that, but so it's like inverted like that, where you kind of push the tail all the way around. Kind of the same thing, kind of not. The main thing with these is they're actually stupid simple. Like, it's pretty much just a snap roll, and I will slow down the physics to kind of highlight that. It's pretty much just a snap roll at the right time. So now we're in slow person mode, and I'll do upright to inverted and then come back. So you're pulling on the stick, and then you're pushing down, and pretty much it's kind of hard to explain, but if you're doing just like a normal snap, let me just do a normal snap. It's pretty much the same maneuver. With a normal snap, you're just giving your elevator and your aileron and coming around, and that's it. And this is pretty much that. So you're pushing that. Well, not when you go from inverted, but think of it, it's pretty much just a quick snap motion. That's all it is. So I'll break them down again. So upright to inverted, you're pulling up, you're pushing over, giving your rudder input with a little bit of aileron and coming back around, getting back on the power, and you're done. I'll do one the other way, and I'll show you the one I really like that's kind of different than these. But so inverted to upright is you're pushing, you're pulling while giving the rudder input, you're snapping the plane around, giving a little bit of aileron to correct it. Just kind of depends on how you come out, and you're through. And I'll do two more from each direction. So we'll just go from upright to inverted again. So upright to inverted, pulling on the stick really hard, giving that rudder and tail movement kind of like a snap, a little bit of aileron to correct, and now you've officially done a turnaround. One more time. Inverted, push, pull with that rudder input, kind of a snap, and all the way through. That one wasn't as good. I'm going to do one more. I don't know why it's kind of cutting out. It's not my internet. It's actually the stream software I'm using, so I'm really sorry for that. I don't know why, and I don't know how to fix it. I probably should have restarted my computer before. But one more. Push. You're giving that snap motion. A little more aileron will kind of kick you around. But, yeah, that's pretty much it. So that's kind of the turnaround stuff. I'll show you one real quick that I like that is... It kind of involves a funnel hover. I'm going to go back to full speed. So if you go back inverted, you push up, and I do like a small funnel hover like that, and then come around. Which I don't know if I've really never done it from upright to inverted, but there you go. I like doing that. It's a little bit different, Oh, that was a mess up. But kind of adding that little extra spin at the top, it's kind of cool. It's still pretty much the same thing, but that's one extra. I know that Joffel was asking about kind of different variants of that. That's another one. I know there's a question about Lamshavak, which is kind of like the crankshaft, which, I don't know, some of the simulator planes don't like it. Some planes do it better than the other ones. The 104 Slick does them super well. The 48 Edge I had does them okay. I know the new Extreme Fly planes do them awesome. So it just kind of depends. So let me do one of those. I actually was being dumb. I went and practiced these earlier, and I could not get them, and I realized I was doing the wrong input like a dum-dum. But I like to go from inverted, and it's kind of the same thing. This airplane doesn't really get that good spin, but you're pretty much jamming the sticks just in the corner, and you can kind of play with your aileron input a little bit to get the correct vertical, like the vertical spin, but it really depends on your airplane. If you're going to start practicing these, literally just jam the sticks in the corner and see how it reacts, and you kind of adjust that input depending on your plane. They're super easy, just do them high because some airplanes will tumble so fast you can't recover. So be careful on those. I'll do one in slow motion just so you guys can see the inputs. And I know I have one more question to answer tonight. Those are definitely overused. Yes, this maneuver is the first time it had ever been done, or I'd really seen it used popularly, was in the one trick contest at Joe Nall at 2014. Aaron Bates did it, and then everyone did it. And now it's just like the most overused, nasty thing ever. And they're not even pretty. They're only fun with like 60-inch airplanes. I was there for that, and he crashed the 104 Slick while doing it. But so here it is in slow motion. If you notice that little rudder input I gave to make sure I'm staying in the right depth, that's what I'm talking about. So sticks in the top right corner, you're spinning, and you can kind of give that aileron input just to kind of get that angle just right, but that's it. The Lamshavak is overused. Way overused. They're cool like once. You get one good one that people like, and then it's kind of like, okay, we get it. Because that's all you do. Just put the sticks in the corner, and it'll do it. You might have to play with how much rudder you give or how much aileron you give, but in the end, that's all you got to do. Let me go to RC groups and answer this other question I know that was left for me. If you guys want to like get in contact with me when I'm not streaming, RC groups private message is a pretty good way if my inbox is not full, but it's full a lot, so sorry. YouTube message or Facebook. You can add me on Facebook. I don't really mind. Let me see here. My inbox is full, sorry. And I know I got a question from Eker, who sends me a lot of personal messages. He's just really been nice to me and supportive of me, so thank you. I really appreciate that. But he asked me, let's see. Also tonight, could you give a few good choices for 3D aircraft, 48 inches to 73 inches? So 48 inches to 73. I haven't flown any Extreme Flight airplanes, so I can't tell you what's really the best. I loved my old 3D Hobby Shop 72-inch extra. I still have it. I would love to fly it, but I have no space. I thought about renting a storage unit that's on my property, but that's $80 a month. So but 48-inch airplanes, so I don't know why the stream keeps being weird. I'm going to X out of some stuff real quick. That might help. Okay. Yeah, refresh should help. Anyways, 48-inch to, yeah, it could be YouTube. I would stream on Twitch, but I don't think most people have a Twitch account or want to make one, so I think YouTube's the best. I thought about Facebook, but Facebook is kind of weird because Facebook is just weird. Anyways, 48-inch to 73. I really liked my 72-inch extra. The 74-inch edge was really cool. I never had one, but I flew them and they were really good. For what I've seen, the 60-inch slicks from Extreme Flight are pretty dope. The new airplane I have will hopefully be on this list soon. So as soon as I build it and post a video of it, you'll know what it is. And hopefully it's a contender because it is in that range. There's another hint for my next airplane. You know, I haven't flown the new Extreme Flight stuff, so I really don't think I can give the best opinion. Other planes, I haven't flown anything pilot in that size. I think AJ Aircraft has some stuff in that size, but I don't know how I feel about those quite yet. But the smaller stuff, I love the 48-inch Edge from 3D Hobby Shop. The original version with the wire landing gear is by far the best one. The new 48-inch demonstrator might fly a little better, but the whole point of that airplane was to be a beater. And the wire landing gear is so nice because you can just plop that down anywhere, fly it anywhere, and it's great. I love that airplane. I wish I had a brand spanking new one, but it's a really good practice airplane. The 47 SHP, I don't even know if they still make it. Pretty good. Wasn't my favorite. Anything lower than 48-inch, don't really like. I used to like the 42 slicks. Then I flew another one. I hated it. The Yaks, don't mess with the Yaks. I'm not a big fan of the Yaks. So that's kind of, I can't really give you the best answer, but hopefully I'll be able to answer that better here in the next week or two about planes I like. I'm trying to see if I missed any questions. If you have any questions you want me to go over in the chat, let me know. Can I have an autograph? No, because it's worthless. Sounds like the 3D equivalent of button mashing. Yes, that's exactly what it is. But we're closing in on an hour, so that's pretty cool. But that's all I really had. So the main things for tonight are depth. Think about that axis when you're flying. You're doing a loop. Don't just think about, is it a perfect circle? Did you drift too far in? Did you drift too far out? That axis is super important. And I did not pay attention to that when practicing it all when I first started, and it hurt me. Kind of goes back to what I talked about last weekend with bad habits and such. One thing I will show is my new project. Okay, everyone's going to kind of hate me for this. But as much as I love flying 3D airplanes, there's another type of flying I like to do. It's relaxing. It's not crazy, and it's super just chill, and it's gliders. I want to build. I'm designing my own sailplane, and it's gonna be all 3D printed. So this is my first half of my 3D printed sailplane. Tommy Miller, got some planes you can fly. Come on up, Extreme and 3D Hobby Shop. See what you think. I'm down. I am down. I really want to fly some of the new Extreme Flight stuff. I think the new slick would be cool to have. I have a original. Hell yeah, DLGs. DLGs are awesome, but I'm 3D printing all my own stuff. One, because I have a ton of filament and it's cheaper to buy filament than an airplane, and I like designing. So let me pull up my CAD software and I'll show you like how I did this and what I'm doing. So let me get in my stream software real quick. Display capture. Sorry, it's gonna kind of trip out for a second, so bear with me. Uh-oh. Oh, that's why. Okay, so you should be able to see my other screen, and I'll first bring up the CAD folder. if it doesn't like make my computer crash, which there's a good chance it will. Alright, so let's let that catch up. Alright, so this is my AutoCAD Inventor design that I've been working on. And I'm designing it for 3D printing, and it's kind of tricky to do that. It's not impossible, but it's definitely tricky here. But my goal is just to be able to completely, pretty much, say I designed one from scratch. I don't know why I can't see like half of my screen, to be honest. Oops. Oh, this is a disaster. Here we go. Okay. So I'm designing everything to be 3D printed. So this is the initial design I have so far, and it will print in 2 halves, and you glue them together. There's this main pod area for holding the battery and all that fun stuff, and then there is so that's the main area for the battery. The motor will be up front, which I haven't really figured out the motor mount just quite yet, but it's just gonna be kind of a wing it kind of thing. This open portion at the end, so my plan is to use like a carbon fiber rod just and use that as the tail, or like a wooden dowel or aluminum tube. The whole point is just to make it really simple to build. So you have this main pod, you glue the tube in, and you're good to go. And then this little channel at the bottom is for running wires up into the pod. And like I said, it is, I printed the first half. I printed the first half yesterday, and it took about 6 or 7 hours to print it. The stream still shows the simulator, not the model. Huh. Let me fix that. Sorry. Alright, let me try this real quick. Sorry about this, guys. I kind of planned on doing this, but I thought it would just kind of work. That's kind of the problem, my bad. Let me try this one more time. If not, then I'll just drop it. It's kind of the hard part about live streaming is there's so many ways to mess it up. Okay, should be able to see it now. But yeah. Okay, yeah, you can see me now. Sorry about that. I'm just going to explain it real quick so I don't kill any more precious time. But yeah, so this is the 3D print of this file. I need to print the other half. I'm going to do that tomorrow after work. But I have this open hatch area for the battery. I have this main area where the tube will slide in. That'll be the tail. And then I have this open area for wires to run through. The motor will mount directly to the front, which will kind of look stupid for now, but for testing, I think it'll be fine. And then I'll print it in 2 halves, glue it together. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, no big deal. But that's kind of my other thing I'm going to be working on the side. As much fun as only flying 3D is, it's good to have something else just to play with. And then I'll also show you guys what I use for like actually 3D printing. But this is 123 3D or Simplify 3D. What is it? I don't know. Yeah, Simplify 3D. But this is what I use. Does all the G code, which I can actually program G code. That's what I do a little bit in real life. But this is all the basic G code, and this took probably 8 hours It says it only took 6 hours, but it took 8. But it turned out really well. Like, I'm super happy with it. And when I get 2 halves, I will glue them together and see if I can make it fly. So that's kind of what's coming up on my channel if you subscribe and all that shenanigans. And I want to remove that, so I'll go back to the simulator. So hopefully you guys saw that. You should consider selling the resulting STL files once you got something you're happy with. Seems to work well enough for 3D lab print. Honestly, I'll just give it away for free because it's not going to be perfect. I'm not like an aerospace designer or anything. Have you tried SketchUp? I used to use Google SketchUp, but in school and engineering, I always use AutoCAD Inventor, so that's what I use. I'm going to switch to Fusion because it's free. The only reason I really have AutoCAD Inventor is because of it's still on my student. Yeah, it's still on my student account, so like in a couple months it'll be like, hey, we know you graduated. So yeah, SketchUp's good. It's just this is what I know already, so I don't want to try and learn Google SketchUp. It's what I used in the past. The first airplane I ever actually designed and flew was in Google SketchUp, which at some point I want to rebuild it and do a video on it. It was the first airplane I really ever flew was designed in SketchUp. They at least allow for people to donate for the models if they'd like to. Yeah, I'll do that if some people actually like it that much, but you know, I'm not really in it. I don't want to be the person who's just in it for the monies. I'm using SketchUp Make, free and it works well. I made some parts for an extreme flight 60-inch edge and can export it to AutoCAD. I've never heard of SketchUp Make. I'll check it out though. I just use this because I know it, and I also have 2D CAD, which 2D CAD is awesome. I love playing around in 2D CAD. I would like to work on 3D printed wings, but 3D printed wings are kind of a pain. I actually 3D printed like a whole flying wing, half of a flying wing, and it was cool to do, but it was such a pain and it took so much time. I don't ever want to do it again. But it's something I want to try. I don't like flying gliders. I like DLG. DLG is super fun, but like I said, I can only have 2 planes. One has to be home built, so that keeps me kind of not just buying a whole bunch of crap I don't need. But hopefully y'all will be interested in that. I'll definitely post STLs. I think with this one the main problem is going to be motor mount, because I didn't really think about it when I drew it up. I just kind of winged it. That's kind of how I design stuff. Is I sketch it in a book, and from the sketch I just draw. I'm going to do a whole video on the process. DLG can be home built. Yeah, the one I have one. I flew it while I was in college. It was the it's the foam. It's the what's it called? The foam. There's a foam one you can buy that's like EPO foam, and it's super nice. I think it's like the Alula maybe, I don't know. Aurora. I'm trying to exit out of everything. Ooh, actually I don't want to exit out of that. I have not saved. I'm gonna save right now. Stream is kind of lagging. Yeah, the label and the Alula. They need a tutorial on how to pronounce that. Yeah, but I had one of those and I really loved it. I flew it in our main little campus area and loved it. Let's see what time it is. 9:06. Cool. So I'll probably chill on stream for another about 10 minutes and wrap it up because I'm tired and I still got to get up in the morning. So flying RC planes on campus is fun. Yeah, it's really fun, and no girl will ever talk to you. So It's a blast. No, I'm just kidding. Kind of. My freshman year, I flew helicopters on campus, and no girl will talk to you if you fly like little radio-controlled helicopters. I guarantee it. But flying DLGs on campus, you can go for like the hipster kind of thing. Maybe some girl will be into that. I don't know. Yeah, that's the key. That's you don't tell me you fly airplanes till like a couple months in. But I'm just gonna do some flying. If you want to see anything more maneuvers, just post them. Post them up. I'm still in slow mode. Thanks, Airport Dog. Thanks for your question, too. Thank you. Also, okay, one thing I did forget to go over real quick is the Weeble Wobble. Gonna go over the Weeble Wobble real quick. Because I figured out how to do it and explain it super fast. Super easy. Weeble Wobble is pretty much like doing a rolling Harrier, except you double the speed of your inputs. So pretty much do a rolling Harrier on a down line, except faster, and you will do a Weeble Wobble. I'll show you. Go up, push over, Weeble Wobble. Boom, baby. That's how you do a legit Weeble Wobble. Do not let anyone show you any other way. That's a Weeble Wobble. I'll slow it down. Send it to everyone who's made a tutorial in the past and mislabeled it. That's a Weeble Wobble. All you do is pretty much double the speed of your inputs, and it creates the perfect timing to get the tail to move like that. I'm just going to fly it into the ground. I don't care. That's a Weeble Wobble. So pretty much rolling Harrier on a down line, except double your input speed. That's all it is. And I remember Aaron Bates explaining it like that on RC Group somewhere, where you just speed up your inputs. That's the Weeble Wobble. It's different from the rolling Harrier spin, which I'll do one now. Oh, I messed up so bad. Never mind. I'm not qualified to do this. Rolling Harrier spin. It's like that. Sorry for crashing, but it's what it is. Rolling Harrier spin, Weeble Wobble. Now you know. You're welcome. Every other tutorial out there is wrong. I should probably make like a separate video just for that, but I probably won't be making like separate tutorial videos for a while until I get my hands on another big airplane that I can film and it's easy to see everything. Filming a tutorial video with a 48-inch edge is awful, and I'm not going to try it. Hopefully the stream is still chugging along. I don't know what is up with YouTube, but it's being slow. Slow, low roll. I met 2 that way. You met 2 women flying RC airplanes? That's like a record. Congratulations. I'm sorry, but I've been to Jonal, like the biggest airplane event in the world, a couple times. There's always like maybe 1. And yeah. If you're into airplanes to meet girls, then you need to find a new hobby. Unless you fly full scale, and in that case, you'll get all the women. Women love like real pilots. That's what you say. Say I'm a pilot, and then tell her it's radio controlled. that's the secret. Let me get back to my sim. We'll do slow rolls. Slow rolls are tough. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. I wish I could do him as good as Jace. Like, he is good at it. The main thing with these is just like, you have to know your airplane pretty well. Like, that one was pretty terrible. Part of it is just kind of knowing what to look for, so you want to space everything out. So when you're doing a slow roll, you want to make sure you are perfectly inverted right in front of you. That's where you want to be. Perfectly centered. Like, use that center point to base your speeds and how far you start to the left and how far you into the right, or whichever direction. That's the thing with slow rolls, and just practicing those, you just have to do it over and over. I will say, using a plane set up for precision like a pattern airplane makes it 1,000 times easier and 1,000 times more fun, because there's no urge to sit there and start just doing 3D maneuvers. I bought the 3D Hobby Shop Osiris, which they don't think they make anymore. No, I know, because I'm pretty sure it was designed by Andrew Jetski. Jetski, not jet ski. And yeah, but that plane is what I used. You can still 3D it, but set up a plane for practicing that kind of stuff, or set up a flight mode only for practicing that kind of stuff. And yeah, that's the main thing. I fly full scale. Well, there you go. Yeah, you're fine. Lead off with that. Don't lead off with RC airplanes. Just lead off with, hey, I can fly real airplanes. You'll be good. Ow. I'm going to change up what airplanes I use for the last couple minutes, because I'm kind of sick of this plane. The plane I practice precision on is a Brio 10. A lot of people started their 3D journey with the Brio 10. I never flew one. The first 3D airplane I ever had was an E-Flight Sequoia, and it sucked. But I broke it in half multiple times. It sucked. But I wish if I could go back, I would have never bought that airplane. I would have bought a 3D Hobby Shop 48-inch airplane and not have wasted the hours of putting that thing back together over and over again. Not over and over again, but I had a couple ESCs catch on fire. And I couldn't afford to just buy a new one, so I literally would just use popsicle sticks and just bridge huge gaps in the side. It was a miracle it still flew towards the end. I've been practicing a lot of these belly in knife edge. Have you ever flown E-Flight Vanquish? Is that new really fast one they've come out with recently? If it is, I have not flown it. I have seen it fly. It looks pretty cool. I can't. It's in their Speed Freak lineup, so I guess it's more geared for speed. I wish they would come out with a more like just precision. Like if they came out with a pattern airplane, that'd be amazing. I'd buy it. But I've seen them fly and they look cool. I don't know if that's the same thing though. How are you liking that Edge? It flies okay. It's too. Honestly, this thing is a lot like the real PAU Edge. From what I've seen, it just looks like a big, slow, goofy airplane. I don't know why my stream is cutting out like that. I'm sorry, guys. No, pattern. I've not flown it. I bet I'd like it, though. I know. I really like the 3D Hive Shop Osiris. I really did. It flew so good. I don't know what happened to that or why I don't have one anymore or what happened. Because of all the airplanes I own, most of them are at my parents' house. I have a 104 Slick that's still flyable. I have a 72-inch Extra that is still flyable. I have a 50cc Yak and a 60-inch Yak, but I hate those airplanes with a passion, so I never want to fly them again. I have a 3D Highway Shop Viper Pipe, which I hate. You cannot pay me to fly that airplane. And a 58-inch Edge, which I think might be not flyable, but I have the frame, which I do like that airplane. It's just I don't have them here where I live right now. Seeing as you're using OBS, you could try this. Set the quality preset to speed. You should get better results with that setting. Right now, I think it's more YouTube. Because I haven't changed my setup at all, and I'm only getting these issues. I had to muck around with OBS for days before I got a good output. Yeah, it's kind of a pain, but it's free. The main thing is can your computer handle it? I think right now it's YouTube, because my internet here is amazing. So it's not my internet, and my computer is plenty powerful. Real Flight actually doesn't take that much power to run off your laptop, so I think it's just YouTube tonight. So I think that's going to wrap it up for tonight, though. If anyone's got some last-minute questions, shoot. But if not, it has been fun. Thank you for coming out. Keep an eye out for my new projects with the 3D printed glider and my new airplane, which will be out soon. The best way to support me is make sure you subscribe. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube. I definitely appreciate it if you tell your friends about it. I really enjoy doing this, and really awesome to see everyone in the chat. Really cool when I can just talk back and forth with people. I really like that. It's fun. It's kind of like shop talk. So yeah, I think that's gonna be it. Yeah, it's been real. It's been fun. It's been real fun. But yeah, hopefully next time YouTube isn't being all weird, but maybe it's my setup, and hopefully next time I'll be flying with my my actual Jetty controller and not this stupid thing, because this sucks. I'm flying with this when I could be flying with this. Look, it's not even right. Not even right. It's not fair. But yep, I am gonna sign off. See y'all next time. Tell your friends, and I'll be back next week, next Thursday. Yeah, at 8. And I definitely would appreciate some comments, because I know I wanted to cover the topic I did last week and this week, but from here on out I'm gonna do more of the suggestions people give me, because those are two things I've had in my head to do for a while. So that's it. Good night. Sleep well. Whatever. I'm out.